Hello and welcome back to Scottish Car Enthusiasts and Trains TV, and it's part 2 of our money motoring 50 cost savers, where we'll go through numbers 11 to 20 on how to save money during this cost of living crisis. So without much further ado, let's jump on board and have a look. Number 11. Delve into DIY. Most modern cars aren't especially designed with the home mechanic in mind, but there's still an awful lot you can do yourself and save a pretty penny on garage labour charges in the process. There's no shortage of tips, advice and encouragement lurking on the internet and owners' forums, as well as the car mechanics. And you may even get to like the resilient job satisfaction of doing it yourself. I can actually testify to that. When I had the 75, it was actually quite nice to service my Rover for the first time. In 20 years of driving, I'd actually done a service on my own car. And you're looking at just maybe like an oil and filter service, maybe for a newbie, you're maybe looking at about a couple hours tops. 12. Shop around. Who doesn't shop around these days? But by this we mean thinking ahead, and if you spot bargains, buy now rather when you need them. For instance, at the time of writing, Tesco was selling certain engine oils very cheaply. £14 for 4 litres is one example. Sometimes it's to simply clear out old stock, and as long as the oil meets the right criteria, i.e. the correct blend and service specifications, don't get overly hung up on the brand and name. Number 13. Tired out. Once upon a time, second-hand tyres were a cheap, though risky option. Nowadays, the economics are different. A new budget brand tyre is usually cheaper. Used tyres may be worth considering though, if you're after something of an unusual, expensive size, or as a way of buying a better quality tyre than you can afford new. Check a tyre's condition inside and out, and avoid anything with uneven wear, or we'd say less than 6mm of tread. Also check the tyre's age too. Stay well clear of anything more than 5 years old. Number 14, and while we're on the subject of tyres, why not care for your tyres? Like maintaining the correct tyre pressure. It's vital for safety and to get maximum life from your tyres. A label on the driver's door shut or a fuel filler flap or the owner's manual often gives the correct pressures. And sometimes there'll be 2 or more alternatives depending on load. Tyres on alloy wheels can sometimes lose pressure due to alloy corrosion on the wheel's inner rim lip, stopping the tyre from sealing correctly. Watch too for uneven wear, which can suggest incorrect pressure or that the tracking needs adjustment. Number 15. Salvage savings. Buying good second-hand spares is nothing to be ashamed of, so long as you buy from a reputable breaker offering some level of warranty on major components. Avoid safety-critical items such as brakes, steering and suspension. And do check the prices against what they cost new before going ahead. Make sure too that the parts you are buying are right for your car. This is especially important with online and distance purchases and or electronic components. The latter car can look identical externally, but have totally different innards. Number 16. Spare a fault. Here's something to consider if you run an old car more than 20 years old. Buying a wreck to strip and save the spares. A scrapper is always worth less than the sum of its parts, and if you have the storage, retrieving what you may need in the future could see you never having to purchase spare parts. Just ensure you have enough space, and bear in mind that individuals cannot now notify DVLA that the vehicle has been scrapped. So as well as taking the shell away, you'll need a registered dismantling facility to process the paperwork. Number 17. Do-it-yourself diagnostics. Be wary of diagnosis by component renewal as an alternative to a proper plug-in diagnostic test. Some people waste literally hundreds changing parts which are not faulty. Sometimes a model will have a well-known and well-documented common faults, or if it does a try B type, but in most cases the only real way of tracing what's wrong is by plugging in a tester and reading off fault codes. These days, vehicle-specific diagnostic pods can often be bought quite cheaply, but they do need to be used and interpreted sensibly. For example, what reads as a component failure might also be caused by a faulty wiring connection to it. And in regards to getting a diagnostic tool, Machine Mart was where I got my diagnostic tool, and I think I paid £20 for it. 18. Cash in a cat. Not your pet. This one isn't for everyone, but may be worth considering if you're running an older car, but aren't planning to keep it. Some OE catalytic converters are worth serious money as scrap, high 3 or 4-figure sums even. An aftermarket replacement can, however, be bought for a fraction of that. Clearly, the replacement won't be as long-lived as the original, but if the car's only going to last another 2 or 3 years, it might be worth changing the cats now and pocketing the possible significant difference. 19. Clean air. These days, most service schedules specify 3, 4 or even 5-year air filter renewal intervals. But cars used mainly or exclusively in cities or dirty rural environments often clog their filters much quicker, and therefore benefit from more frequent changes. A dirty air filter can cost you 2 to 3 miles to the gallon, which these days means you'll probably recoup the cost of a new air filter within 3 or 4 weeks. And in regards to air filters, if you're running an aftermarket air filter, like a K&N or a Piper Cross, which last, say, 100,000 miles, if you're ever taking it in for a service, just ensure you've got a sticker on the airbox cover saying please do not replace, or tell the garage that it's got an aftermarket air filter and won't be changed. Because you often find that some mechanics will just open the box and just toss an aftermarket air filter in the bin. If you've spent quite a wee bit of money, like say between £50 and £60 on an air filter from K&N or Piper Cross, then you don't want to be losing that. And with these air filters is that you can actually clean them yourself with the cleaning kits. So that's just a little handy tip there from Scottish Car Enthusiasts and Trains TV. Number 20. Advantage Additives. Keeping the fuel system clean does more than simply improve fuel economy. It can also keep you on the right side of the MOT by not falling foul on the emissions test. Injector and catalyst cleaners are perhaps the best known pour-ins, and annual additives can only do your engine and wallet good. So that is part 2 of our 50 money-saving tips with Car Mechanics magazine has compiled. We'll be back in part 3 in a couple of days' time with numbers 21 to 30. But for the moment, I'd just like to thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe at Scottish Car Enthusiasts and Trains TV. And we'll catch you in a future video.